Michael in Brookline, Massachusetts. Hey, Michael, what's on your mind today?
Yeah, I want to talk about basically an intrinsic. You had a guy on a while ago talking about revising the Constitution. I want to talk about a basic defect of our system as composed to the parliamentary system. I don't remember, by the way, an honest election in my lifetime, save when an incumbent is. There's fraud throughout, and whoever really won, I don't even hazard a guess. But my suggestion is the parliamentary system. See, the problem here is when the votes are real close, then everybody gets upset, and the executive has way too much power in a system where the votes are close. So the net effect is that you worry about two people here and five, or 0.1% here and there. Whereas, in a parliamentary system, what you would have to do is build a coalition, and nobody would worry about the fine margins.
No, I understand what you're saying, Michael, and for people who don't know what we're talking about, in a parliamentary system, this solved the problem that James Madison freaked out about in Federalist Number 10, where he came to the realization that by creating first-past-the-post, winner-take-all elections, they were basically creating a system that would eventually become locked into a two-party structure. And he didn't have a solution for that other than to beg people not to create factions, not to create political parties. Read it in Federalist 10. But, 40, 50, 60 years later, in the late 1850s, John Stuart Mill wrote a book laying out how proportional representation would work, which is the parliamentary system, which is where if your party gets 12% of the vote, it gets 12% of the seats in Parliament. If it gets 30% of the vote, it gets 30% of the seats in Parliament. If you want to govern, you're going to have to come up with more than 51% of the seats in Parliament together. No individual party is going to get that, so you're going to have to form coalitions. That, however, is going to require either rewriting the Constitution or every state in the union passing legislation to facilitate it. And I don't see that happening any day soon.
Yeah, I don't either, actually. I'm just bringing up real alternatives.
Yeah, the other alternative is what, the political system that we have, only 7 countries in the world have first-past-the-post, winner-take-all elections. Pretty much everybody else has gone to proportional representation. And it's us, Greece, the UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. And in New Zealand and Australia, what they did is they went with ranked choice voting or instant runoff voting, where you vote not just for one person, you vote for your first choice and your second choice, and in some cases your third choice. And if your first choice doesn't hit it, then your vote becomes a second choice vote. So if you voted for Jill Stein in this election and she doesn't hit, she's not going to make it, then that vote rolls over and becomes your second choice vote, which would presumably be Hillary Clinton, for example, or vice versa, And that's something that, the largest municipality in the country, the largest district in the country that has that is San Francisco, California. And there are hundreds of communities across the country now that have instant runoff voting. And that's something that we can do. It's just something that we need to all be working on. And that gets us there, too, where you've got multiple parties and multiple people. Thank you, Michael.
You're listening